Welcome to what I know to be a complete system of personal coaching, our championship high school wrestling video system. First, let me make a suggestion on how to use this video for maximum increase in your wrestling performance. And that's why we've put it together. Not a technique video, but a system, a complete system. Top technique, principles of wrestling in successful sport, tips on how to prepare for matches, tips on how to diet properly and successfully, and how to get the maximum from your weightlifting. So watch this video from start to finish. Then, study each section using slow motion. Take notes on the important coaching points. Then, practice each move. A concept in martial arts says it takes 2,000 correct repetitions to develop a move for competition. That's a big number. But it's really only 50 a day for 40 days. And some of you will learn faster, much faster. The techniques in this video were selected because they're used by national and international champions. And therefore, we know that if they'll work against the best in the country and the best in the world, they will certainly work for you. What we have is the best technique you can get, a strong defense, and then philosophies that weave it all together. You want to work on these moves until you understand all of the possibilities. What we want you to do is take one move and feel confident that that one move will work against anyone in the world. Defensively, if no one can take you down and no one can hold you down, you can't lose. Defense wins. Coach Vince Lombardi said, while dancing is a contact sport, football is a collision sport. Well, wrestling is a collision sport too. And a sport where the more violently you do a move, the more you increase your chances of it working. You learn wrestling three ways. One, by doing it. Two, by having it done to you. And three, by watching it. In our system, we want you to utilize all three ways. When you're drilling a move, of course you're involved in that move. But it's very important to me that when someone is drilling the move on you, you must also be actively involved by thinking of how you'd counter the move, on how you would react to the move. Don't waste half your practice time by not being involved when the move is being done on you. Lastly, winning wrestling is done from whose perspective? From the point of view of the official. If the referee wants a certain action, you must give it to him. All the scores in the match are done by the referee. In a recent world championship, an American wrestler was wrestling against a Soviet opponent. He had his head down, he had a strong overhook, he was pushing away. The referee asked repeatedly for the American to get his head up. Head up blue, head up blue, head up blue. The American ignored the referee's request, even though at that point he had no cautions for stalling. Within 30 seconds, he had accumulated 3 cautions and he was ejected from the match. The referee is the most important person on the mat. You don't score any points until the referee gives them to you. You may think you scored, your coach may think you scored, your mother may think you scored, but until the referee signals the points, you haven't scored anything. As you watch this video, make sure to pay attention to all of the points on it. Everyone knows that you need to pay attention to the big details, but it's the small details and nuances of a move that put you on the championship stand with the medal draped around your neck. Always remember that hard training is imperative. Making a champion, and I personally have known every Olympic and world champion since 1948. And even though these men are very different, they all had one common characteristic. They were all fanatic trainers. Emerson says, there's no strong performance without some fanaticism in the performer. You must have the desire to be a champion. You need to get obsessed and stay obsessed, like some of my champions that you're going to meet on this video. I'm really excited about what our wrestling system is going to do for you. So let's go up to the wrestling room and get started. We're not just trying to teach you wrestling technique. Remember, we're trying to teach you our championship system of wrestling. Sean? It begins the moment you cross the outside circle on a wrestling mat. There are two kinds of stances. A square stance, where your shoulders and your knees are in the same line. Your shoulders are over your knees are over your toes. Then there's a staggered stance. That's where the lead foot, the heel on the lead foot, is slightly in front of the toe on the trail foot. This is a basic sports position. When you go to major championship sports, football, basketball, baseball, you'll see this position. The baseball batter is in that position. The linebacker, the defensive back in football are in this position. The guard in basketball are in this position. Hands in front, shoulders over knees. In wrestling, we want to keep the movement of our hands within the body lines of the two wrestlers. Body lines are defined by shoulders and knees. Shoulders and knees. Sean, please turn. Okay. This is the body line. This is inside the body line. This is outside the body line. Okay? All of the motion with their hands is in here. You're grabbing, you're moving. Every time you move. If your hands are in front and the man starts an offensive move, he runs into your hands. It slows him down. Very, very important. The weight is evenly distributed over your entire foot. Slightly on the ball of your foot. Slightly. Your heels are in contact with the mat. You need to be able to move in 360 degrees. Forward, backward, right, and left. Okay? Now, when you're going to penetrate from a square stance, you need to dip your knee and push off the ball of your foot. Dip your knee and push off the ball of your foot. Dip your knee, push off the ball of your foot. In this position, we have two wrestlers, one in a square stance, one with a staggered stance. They're going to take a few shots. Wrestling is a 1 foot long race. In football, it might be 5 yards. In track, it might be 100 yards. In wrestling, if you're close enough, it's 1 foot from you to the opponent. Good. Now we're going to talk about hand control and tie-ups. Remember that all the motion with our arms is between the body lines. We're never reaching to the outside. We'll post the arm and go to our body. So our arms are always between the body lines. First thing we're going to do is grab something below the elbow. The wrist, the hand, the forearm, or the elbow is okay. Grab something right here, strong hold on the wrist, and then the other hand is going to come between the body lines. Right up here, grab the head. This is a collar tie-up. Elbow straight down so that you can keep him away from your body. Now, an underhook would be the same start. Something below the elbow, right here. Hands so that our fingers are to the inside. Grab the wrist, take it slightly to the outside, step in, get your underhook. Grab the top of the shoulder. Very important, strong hold on the top of the shoulder with our elbow out and up. If our elbow's down, what we've given is a fireman's carry hold for him. So we want to keep our elbow out, control the top of the shoulder. Right here. Good position. I've got lots of offensive possibilities here. He has very few offensive possibilities, and he doesn't feel good. I've got a strong hold. He is in trouble. Paul's going to come in now, and Andy's going to demonstrate hand control and tie-ups. Grabs something below the elbow and reaches. Forearm down, that keeps him away from the body. Underhook hold, grabs something below, hand to the inside, steps to the inside, controlling that shoulder. Paul doesn't feel good in that position. Andy's got lots of offense. A Russian tie-up, reach across, grab the wrist. Strong hold. Again, you've got a hold with lots of opportunity. He is in trouble. He doesn't have very many offensive possibilities. Now we're going to talk about setups. One of our great world and Olympic champions, Wayne Wells, was asked, "What's your favorite setup?" What he said was, "I want to get close enough to touch the man's belly without reaching, and then I just take him down." And that's true. If you're close enough to the man, your setup is seemingly unimportant. The farther away you get, the more important the setup is. And of course, if you're far enough away, no setup is going to work. What a setup really is getting the man off balance enough so that his defense will be a little bit late in starting and you'll be able to finish your move. One of our first setups is you're here with your arms in between the body line. Remember, that's where we keep them. And he reaches for us with either arm. When he does that, he reaches for our shoulder. We make a Y out of our hand, and we post his arm and knock it up and go to his body. So he reaches, we post it up, and we hold it there as we pass under, and we get a takedown. If you reach and go behind the elbow, he'll pull his arm down, you'll feel a strong knock in the back of your head, you'll know it wasn't a good move. An arm drag is a wonderful setup. When we're going to do an arm drag, we want to get his wrist, or we want him to have our wrist, or we want him to have our hand. In either case, we can arm drag. Arm drag here, strong hold. We pull our elbow in so he can't arm drag us, and we use both our hands. This one reaches behind his elbow, thumb on the same side, and we take both hands, we take his arm across his body. Not towards him, across his body. And then we step in for our double or single or high crotch. A real good move off an arm drag is a fake arm drag. Let's say you've taken the guy down once with an arm drag, now you go back in, you want to try something else, you try a fake arm drag. You grab a hold at the wrist, pull your elbow in, and instead of reaching behind his arm, kind of reach in front, make a little bit of a loud noise, take the arm across. He'll pull the arm back, you'll step in and get your single or your double. An underhook. We think an underhook's a great setup. How do you get into an underhook? He's got a collar tie. We're going to turn our body towards the tie-up. Turn our body towards the tie-up and slap our underhook on here. Okay? He has the collar tie. We take our palm of our hand, reach across our body, and pop his elbow out into our underhook. We've got his arm here. Maybe we're thinking of an arm drag. We reach across. We put our fingers to the inside. We step inside. Strong underhook. Another way, reach across, grab his wrist. Pull our elbow in. That's always a very important thing. Now lead with the elbow on the other side, in front of his elbow, strong underhook, and release. Now, when we're in a collar tie, we might want to unbalance the guy. All right? He's got a collar tie up, we have a collar tie up. We don't like to be in with our head on the shoulder. We like to have temple to temple. We've got more mobility there. He doesn't have a strong hold to stop us. So we're in a collar tie, he's in a collar tie. If his legs are square, we push in until he stops. Once he stops us, we snap him down. If we push and he opens up with this leg back, then he's weak in this direction, we snap him in that direction. If we push in and he opens in the other direction, then he's weak here, we snap him in that direction. If we push in and he stops us with both legs, then of course we know he's weak straight down into a front headlock or some kind of a strong hold. Now, collar tie situation, we have something we call the elbow lead, okay, or the deflector, in this case the deflector. You reach over the top with your thumb, put it right in here, strong hold on the elbow. Now, you release by moving your head out of the way you take his elbow across his body and towards the other knee. You're rotating out the same way gears rotate out. You can't just move his arm without getting our head out of the way. So we have to move our head out of the way. Now, same situation if we're in a control tie-up, hand in here. Now, when he releases his hand to come and get the inside tie on us, right there, is when we do the elbow lead. Strong hold, he comes inside, we take the arm across the body, step in, and finish it with a takedown. Now, another setup that we like the cross-reach single. When I'm in here, let's say he reaches for my head, I post it and I step for my cross-reach single. He brings the leg back. Then I follow through and just go right to the other side. So it looks something like this. I post, I reach, he pulls it back, I reach, he pulls it back, I reach. I can continue to go all the way across. These are a lot of good setups. We like them. There's a lot of other setups you can use, and what we want you to do is start to invent your own setups. See what kind of things fit in with your wrestling that can get the guy off balance, because after all, that's what a setup is. Now let's go to the single leg takedown. We like a stand-up high single because you don't have to go to your knees. And every time you go to your knees, you open yourself up for attack. The setups that we like to use here, of course, are get close enough to touch. If you can touch his knee, you can take a short step, you can get his knee. We love the underhook from almost every position. Remember, on the underhook, strong hold on the top of the shoulder, elbow out, top of your head on the guy's shoulder. And we like the post. You wait for him to reach for you. When he reaches for you, you make sure you make the Y out of your hand, go right behind the elbow, pop it up. Then you push off your outside leg and step with your inside leg, right here. Your head's going to hit strongly against the bottom part of his ribs. You're going to grab the inside of his leg and come around to the outside. Okay? So we want outside over inside, right in there. The reason we want the outside over inside is because if you have the inside over the outside, he can grab your wrist and pull it loose. Okay? If you have outside over inside, he grabs the wrist and he's lifting up his own leg. All right. As soon as we hit the man, what we want to do is pull him towards us. Most takedowns, the guy drives through. What we want to do in this situation is grab his leg and pull it to us. He's not ready for that. It's not so good for him to defend. All right? He reaches, we post. We step inside leg, hook behind. Outside leg comes up, and we pull the man to us. When we're in that position, we want to get to a safety position. And the safety position is back straight, head right on the ribs, good outside over inside, and now we want to trap his leg between our legs. Pull right here. Good position. All right? Now the finishes we're going to use here, first, we like to go to the ankle. It's the best finish if we can get it. It gives us a very strong position. We're in here. We've got his leg trapped. The outside hand holds onto the knee. The inside hand slides right down to the heel. In that position, we hold it against our leg. We step off. As we lift the leg up, we want our forearm against the ball of his foot. We want his heel, and we want to bend it out. It's not comfortable, is it, Sean?
No.
Okay. And then we want to lift his knee up. We lift his knee up, gets us closer to his feet. Right in here. Now, we can trip backwards, we can trip forwards, and we can step on his foot. Okay? Backwards, forwards, step on the foot. If you step on the foot, you cave his knee in with your knee. Take him down. Okay. Second finish, we call running the pipe. Same situation, right in here, got the leg in between our legs. Now what we're going to do is take a short step to the front. We're going to step back with our outside leg, and we're going to force him down with our head. So we're pulling the leg and pushing on his body, right here. This position. Short step, step back, down he goes. The next finish is the Tediashvili. It's named after the great Russian wrestler Levan Tediashvili, a two-time Olympic champion, five-time world champion. Very quick, had this move down perfectly. He would grab the leg, pull it in here. The guy would then force his leg to the outside. When he did that, he would not change his grip. He would take a short step with the inside leg. His elbow would catch the guy in the thigh, and you take the leg out, sideways, not up, because he's going to bend it. So we're in here, he moves it to the outside, we step, our head comes through, we sweep, and down he goes. Very important in that position to sweep the leg sideways. You lift it up, he's going to bend it, you won't get the takedown. The next finish is the Schultz. Dave Schultz, great Olympic and world champion, one of our wrestlers a long time ago, likes this hold, showed it to us. It's a great finish. Again, inside step, grab it, pull the leg. In this situation, he puts his leg to the outside again. Strong situation, maybe even he has a whizzer on. We grab with our outside hand, we pull his knee outside our body. Take a short step with the inside leg first, then a step with the outside leg. We reach down, we grab right behind that tendon, and now we cross our hands. Very important to get that cross. The guy's going flying. We like the single leg. It's terrific. Now let's watch some of our guys do it. Watch now, Isaac's going to step to the center and hook behind the knee, outside over inside, and then he's going to back up. It's very important to back up. It keeps the man off balance. His head is in the ribs. Now he's going to go right to the heel. His forearm is going to be on the ball of the foot. He's going to bend the toe towards him, and now he's going to take him towards the center. You always want to take the guy back to the center. Now he steps on the foot, caves the knee in, and takes Sean to the mat. Important thing for you to note here is that he's still got that leg. That keeps the guy from bouncing up. Now let's take a look at the low single. That's a fine move. The danger of a low single is you're on your knees. It's easier to counter you. So what we like you to do as quickly as possible is come up to your feet or spin behind the man. So come to your feet or spin behind the man is the safest thing to do on a low single. Sean? Okay, we're going to start this move several ways, but one is inside control. Thumbs on the inside. Anytime you can get this hold, you're going to hold the man off a little bit. It's a little bit more difficult for him to get you, and that's important. We like the fake arm drag in this position too. Rather than go up behind the arm and do an arm drag, you come up in front of the arm, you make a quick noise, and he pulls the arm out of the way, and you shoot to the opposite side. The other thing we like is some kind of a circle away from the hole. You're going to shoot at his left leg, you circle this way. You get him to step into you. All right? We're going to do a drop step from either a square stance or a slightly staggered stance. Put your weight on the foot, the lead foot, or your weight on the foot on the side you're going if you have a square stance. That collapses you. Your weight's there, you collapse the foot, that brings you down. You tug on his arms a little bit, and you drive off the back foot. You drop your foot back a little bit, and you drive, you pull down, you drive in. Now when you land on a low single, we want to land with our shoulder right to the outside of his knee. Right there. We want to have one arm around the bottom of his leg, the other one right at the heel. Right there. Put the pressure in against him, driving towards that foot. As soon as we hit, right here, we want to pivot to the outside. Okay? We're in this position, we pivot to the outside. That gets us behind him or the outside. We don't want to be off the front, okay? So, when we're in this position, we're pivoting to the outside. We're going to drive all his weight over there, and we're going to come to our feet. Right here, come right up to your feet. Remember, when you come up to your feet, you want this hold. Right there, and bend the leg. Okay? If you don't come up to your feet, but you manage to pivot to the outside, that's the next finish. This position, pivot to the outside. He throws his legs back, comes down to his knees. Okay? We're in here in a low single. The inside hand comes back and grabs his heel. Okay, I want you to see this from a little bit different angle. You're on the outside, driving across. Strong hold on the leg. You're going to get off your knees right there. Slide down and get that ankle. Pull it to the outside. Pull it to the outside, get off, drive across, come up on top of the guy. Okay, now, when you're in a single leg, low single, and he's got a very strong stance, maybe his legs are even a little bit wider, and he's got his weight on you. Just put your weight right on the shoulder. Okay, you're in this position. Hold on to the knee strongly. Take this hand, put it between his legs, drop your head. You're now underneath the guy. Walk forward on your knees, sit back, and lift. From this position, hold on to the original leg, take the other hand, strike his knee right up in the air very quickly. Off your head, turn and come on top. It's real important that you do that quickly. The longer you take in there, the more chances he's got of grabbing some kind of a ankle, grabbing your body, locking your head in. Okay? Now, next one on a low single, this guy's got a very strong whizzer hold, but you're able to stay off the front. What I want you to do here is hold that knee in tight, grab his wrist, drive your head to the outside, and sit through. Sit through with the outside knee. Right here, sit through, drive across, make him carry your weight, come up on top. If you can hold him down there on his back and score points, that's what you want to do. All right? A low single is an excellent move, but we'll see later when we get into defenses, there are dangers. So what I want you to do is pivot to the outside, come to your feet, lift the man up. You defeat his defenses that way. Let's watch some guys do this move. Notice here, Chris is going to take a strong inside tie, thumbs to the inside. He's pushing into Dave to get a little bit of a reaction. Now he's pulling down. Dave reacts up. Chris drives off his back foot, goes right in and takes a hold of that leg. His shoulder is to the outside of Dave's thigh. Dave puts his whizzer on. Chris stays on his feet and pivots behind. Whenever you can stay on your feet, you're a much stronger wrestler. Dave goes down. Chris keeps a hold of the leg. Now he's going to react up, release, and go immediately to the head and try and turn the guy over. The best time to turn him is as soon as you land on the mat. The next move is a double leg takedown, a move that worked really fine for both Peterson brothers as they won the Olympic championships in '72 and '76. It's still a great wrestling move. There's a number of different setups. Again, we want to get close enough to touch his belly. That's always our favorite. If the guy reaches for us, we can wait for him to reach and post one elbow or both elbows. If we have an underhook, it's a great hold. Either move him to the front, snap him down, and go underneath, or an arm drag. We're going to do the arm drag here because it's a very strong hold. Remember, right at the wrist, above the elbow, you're going to take the arm across the body. Both arms are going to work to get that arm across the body. Then we're going to step inside leg. Push off the other leg, step inside leg. Change your elevations and drop down, and we want you to grab right here, right around the knees. The reason we want you to grab around the knees, if you grab higher, the guy has a chance to get his legs back. He's much tougher defensively. If you grab here right at the knees, he throws his legs back, he's up on your shoulders. Okay? So we always want you to grab at the knees. Here we go. Strong across the body arm drag. Drive off this leg, step to the center, drop down right around the waist. We're going to bring Andy in to show you how to work this move. A little bit higher speed. Strong arm drag across the body, step with the inside leg, and drive right straight through the man. Boom. If we can, we want to trap his arm against his body. Then, not only do we have both legs, we've got his arm. All right? So, if we drive in, sometimes he resists back, and we'll end up lifting him. He resists back, we lift. Now what do? We look for the center. Take him right back to the center, and we finish it. Swing his legs to the outside, grab the far knee, cradle him across the body. It's a lot easier to hold the man there, and set him down on his shoulders. Don't let go of the leg. Scramble for some kind of upper body hold. Okay? Now, a lot of times, as soon as you hit the man, he gets a very strong position with his feet. That's when you can drive right to the side and take him over his outside knee. Again, an arm drag or a post. You're going to start driving. The guy gets his legs back in a strong position. You step up with your outside leg and drive straight across his body. Okay? Now, if we should end up with a man and he goes to his knees and we go to our knees, the same hold. Right here, he's got his legs back. We have two options in this position. We pull down whichever knee seems to be easier to pull down. We pull that knee down to the mat and we anchor it. We now rotate all the way around the guy holding that there. Okay, we call this a twisting double leg takedown. Same thing can happen if you pull the leg down on the opposite side from your head. You're in there, he's got a strong position, his feet are back. You pull that leg down. When it anchors, you now pivot around and come up on top. Circular motion is so powerful. Any chance you get to hold the guy in one position and run around him, the better chance you have of finishing the move. Let's go and watch some of our wrestlers doing these moves. Notice that the first thing Sean's going to do is grab something below the elbow. We want you to do that every time. Keeps his hands in front. He's going to get a strong underhook. Put his hand right behind Isaac's head. Notice how Isaac's elbow's facing the ceiling. That's a strong underhook. He changes direction. He backs up. Then he changes directions. His hands are right behind the knees. He's driving away from his head. Isaac resists this, so he changes direction. Drops down to the other way, lifts that thigh really hard, now puts his head on the mat and jumps all the way over the man. Good change of direction. Puts his weight on the guy, all of his weight on the guy, and drives forward. We really like the front headlock for two main reasons. Number one, it's a lot of offense from the front headlock. But number two, when you put it on right and you put it on tough, that guy thinks a little bit the next time he's thinking about shooting on you. We want to make this hold so tough that he isn't going to shoot on us the rest of the match. Okay? There's several different ways to get into this hold. We're going to show you just two. One is you get some kind of an underhook or you're in an overhook position and you pull his head down, particularly a strong hold if he's got too much weight forward. You pull his head down and you back up strongly, right there. The second, which is the most common and what's going to happen to you an awful lot, is he's going to take a shot. So you're ready, your hands are in front, he goes to take his shot. As soon as he does, I want you to put your shoulder right at the base of his neck, where the neck joins the body. Shoulder right there. I want you to take your hand and put the radius, which is this bone right here, right along his jawbone, and I want you to turn his head. Turn his head. Your armpit is right on the crown of his head. So you're like this, and you're off your knees. You're making him carry your weight. Then you take his elbow and you pull it up next to his head, right there. Try and make it parallel. And then you can lock one of two ways. Either in the wrestler's grip, right here, or like this. Thumbs on the same side, like this, or the wrestler's grip. This holds a little bit stronger. Some people like this. What you need to do is try it out and see which one works better for you. So his head is turned all the way like this. Okay? Shoulder there, armpit there. You're off your knees, and he's carrying your weight. Pull that shoulder out and lock it. Okay? Now, there's a couple of different finishes that we like from here. We'll bring in Sean. All right, Sean. Okay? Go ahead, get the hold on. All right? Good position. Strong hold. Okay? Now, what Sean's going to do, the first one we call the knee tap. The guy has one knee forward, usually the one on the same side as the headlock is. Okay? So you take your shoulder and you drop your shoulder on the opposite side under him just a little bit, and you reach through, you put your hand right on the knee, right there. Then you turn a quarter of a pivot turn away from the guy, and you drive him over. Boom. You're now, all right, it's wonderful if you can do that. You bring that arm up, he's right on his back. Many times what will happen, however, of course, he'll have his arms in. Let's do it one more time, Sean. That was great. So you knock him down. Now, put all your weight on him so he can't come up. Grab his hip and spin behind. Very important to put your weight on him, because terrible. You knock the man over, he comes back to his knees, you don't get any points. Okay. The next situation, same hold, you're driving in, he fights up to his feet. Okay, fight up to both feet. All right. Now, what I want you to do here is take a long step with the outside foot. Long step with your right foot, Sean. Long step. There you go. Now grab elbow deep right there. Now you hold on to his chin with your other hand. Hold on to the chin with your left hand. You lift the leg up and you rotate around. You lock the cradle just as fast as you can, but usually it's not right there. So you lift his leg up and you walk around to your right, and down he goes. Now you lock the cradle. You can hold him there. If you want to, you can scoop the leg, depending on what kind of a situation you're in, and pull him down. Very good, Sean. Very good. Now, same situation. Front headlock. He's carrying your weight. You've got his head twisted. Okay? Now, if the head starts to slide out, or if you feel that the arm drag is there, you take the arm that's around the head, you grab his arm right at the elbow, okay? You pull the arm towards you, you start to travel behind him, you grab his hip, and you go all the way behind. If he resists in this position, just roar right into him and knock him over sideways. Beautiful. Nice job, Sean. Now, the next thing, if he really wants to force himself up, I'm not exactly sure why wrestlers do this, but they force themselves up, they try and get their hips up. Now what you're going to do is grab one of the heels. It doesn't matter which heel, whichever one is there. Now take his head and force it straight between his legs, drive right in, then flop his head straight up. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It doesn't matter which ankle you get. Make sure you lift the head straight up and take him right over. Now let's watch some of our guys do this hold. Notice Chris grabs the wrist, something below the elbow, slaps his underhook on, pushes in, gets a little bit of a reaction. Now he's going to force David's head away. Then he's going to draw David down and back up so he doesn't get taken down with a double himself. Now he's going to hook behind that elbow and pull the elbow up next to the head. Notice Chris's head and David's side. Now he's going to take a long outside step, hook elbow deep. Now what you want to do is lift up on the knee, drive down on the head, and rotate. The rotational motion is the key to this move. Now he's going to lock up the cradle, take David over, put him on his back, and watch he doesn't get rolled in here. You got to be careful. Now we're going to talk about something that I really like. It's defense. If you score, you might win. If he never scores, you'll never lose. Defense wins wrestling matches, basketball games, football games. Every sport is won by defense. We're a very strong believer in defense. Most of the things that we do, not only do we stop the man, which is the defensive part, but then we counterattack so that we end up scoring. But it's very important that we keep him from scoring. Defense wins wrestling matches all the time. Now there's a couple of concepts that I want to start with that I think are very important that you understand before we get into the individual techniques about defense. First is, when somebody gets in on a single leg takedown, go to your knees please, how many different directions can you go in? Now everybody knows you can go backwards, okay? But you can always go to the right, you can go to the left, you can go up, you can go down, and you can go into the guy. Now, if Andy's in a very, very strong defensive position, very strong, and I just throw my legs back, he's probably going to be able to hold on, he's in pretty good shape. But if I move a little bit to the right, a step or two, or if I move a little bit to the left a step or two, it takes his position from a strong position to a weak position. So what we want you to know is there are 6 directions you can go in. When you meet resistance in one direction, you start going in another direction. Every direction is not good every single time. These are some of the things you're going to have to analyze for yourself when you're on the firing line. But if there's a certain takedown, you have problems defensing, get in that position, study it, try different things. Eventually you'll figure it out, or give us a call and we'll help you. Okay. The next thing that I want you to understand is something we call the ISES. All right? The man shoots in. The very first thing you need to do is neutralize. And basically what we're doing there is stopping him from getting us. Okay, we neutralize. Now we do the second part. We analyze. We take a look at what's there. Can we grab a handle? Can we upset his balance? Can we get his leg? Can we do something with the head? That's what we do when we analyze. And then the next thing, we penalize. We make sure that he's shut in, he didn't take us down. We want to make sure he pays the price. Usually the price is us scoring. So the ISES: neutralize, analyze, penalize. Okay? Now, we'll talk now about the high single defense. When a man gets your leg, he gets it up in the air, first thing we have options. We keep it in the center, we put it to the outside. Or maybe he keeps it in the center, or he puts it to the outside. So the first thing that happens, of course, is we have to neutralize. Strong whizzer, push his head away. Hook behind his leg so he doesn't lift us up. Keep our weight down. We push his head away, and now we replace our hand with our head. The hard part of our head right against the soft part of his cheek, right over his teeth. Right there. Now we grab the other elbow. We've got both elbows here. We yank up, drive our leg down, and drive our head right into the man. Now sometimes when he's in that position, we push him away. If we have long arms, for example, we can reach all the way around the body, lock our hands, then push in and straighten out our leg. Okay, let's bring Sean in to work with Andy on this move. Okay, he's got the high single. You got a strong whizzer on. You push the head away. You replace your hand with your head, right in the soft part of his cheek. You now grab the elbow. You explode up with both arms and force your leg down right in the center. You now lift up his elbow and you slap a headlock on real tough. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Same high single situation, only this time your leg is on the outside. So when you force it to the ground, it ends up behind the man. Everything else is the same. Now you take your knee and slide it forward so that it's behind his knee. You bring the whizzer arm down hard, you reach high in the crotch, and you drive him back with your head and body right to the mat. Very nice, Sean. Very nice, Andy. Okay, the next move is a Herman, named after Vic Herman, one of our great heavyweights, who did this move to everybody. Again, strong whizzer. Again, you force the head away. You replace the head with the hand with your head. Now, you drive into the guy a little bit. He starts pushing in. You drive your foot so that you're just on the inside of his instep. You hook underneath his arm, and you throw him high and over you. Very nice. Land with your head on his chest in a good, solid position with your hips down. Okay, now let's watch some of our wrestlers do this at high speeds. Notice Sean's going to put a strong whizzer on and push Isaac's head away to neutralize him. He's got to neutralize him first. Now he's going to underhook and step to the inside and throw Isaac through, and when he lands, Sean's going to land flat down. Dave's got a good single here, so Chris has to push that head away immediately with his hands, replace his hands with his head in the soft part of Dave's cheek, grab a hold of both elbows. He's going to explode those elbows up, put his foot on the mat. Now lift up on the arm for his hips to pass through. Now he's going to drive his arm across very strongly and land with his hips right on the mat. Cover Dave right there. Okay, we're going to do some defenses to a low single when the man shoots in and he's on his knees. Sean and Andy. We're going to start out with the move we call the Desic, named after Stan Desic, world champion and national coach. In this position, the guy's in on a low single. Sean has his laces flat on the mat. And that's better because now you can slide your leg back. If you had your rubber of your shoe on the mat, it's tough to slide your leg back. So you put your laces on the mat and you force your leg back. If you have to get additional pressure, you reach over and grab high on his thigh and you lift and you put your middle in and you get your leg back even better. That's good. Now Andy's going to pull a leg in. Sean's going to take his knee and go right behind Andy's armpit, and now he's going to bite both of his knees together, putting pressure on the man's head and shoulder. He's going to grab with his left hand right up around the hip bone, and with his right hand, he's going to extend as far as he can possibly reach, and then he's going to pull Andy over to his side. Right? Never go down farther than your elbow. If Sean goes to his elbow here, go ahead and go to your elbow, Sean. That's okay. You never want to go lower than that. If you do go lower than that, go right down to your side, Sean. The guy's going to release and roll right up on top of you. Okay, if you go back and you got the single and you go to your elbow, and now the guy releases and rolls up, you lift up and come up on top of him. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so here we go. Sean's tilted Andy and knocked him over to the side. Now he's going to straighten out his leg as high as he possibly can. He's now going to hook on Andy's elbow. Then he's going to get his body out from underneath Andy and go behind his neck. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now, in the same situation, Andy's going to be in on the leg. Sean's going to tilt him with the Desic. Go ahead. Beautiful position. Now he throws his leg back, but the guy's holding so tight he can't do it. He puts both hands on the mat. He switches his hip so he's sitting on the man's elbow. Very nice right there. You're putting great pressure on that guy's elbow. He doesn't feel good. You now reach down and grab his head and pull his ear right next to his shoulder. This is also very uncomfortable. You force that head all the way to the mat and you straighten out the leg that he's attacking, and now you got him on your back. Very nice job. The next move we're going to do, we call the Russian spin. There was a great Russian wrestler in the 60s who could do this to anybody. In this situation, the guy's in on a single and he started to go behind. He maybe even has a low single. He's right on your side. You take your hand, your right hand in this case, and you make a Y out of it and you force down right on his head. So your index finger and your thumb are putting pressure right on the base of his skull, where his skull connects with his neck. You now have lots of pressure down. Now, it's important that Andy's toe is curled under. And it's also important that his knee is off the mat. He wants his knee off the mat, right there. Now, his hip goes against Sean's side, and he pushes against Sean, which causes pressure on his arm. Causes pressure on his arm. Sean doesn't have as tight a hold as he wants. If the hold is loose enough, now's when you do the Russian spin. You take your outside foot and spin, turn it back towards the man. You now rock your knee under, which unlocks your leg, and you spin behind the guy. Very nice. Good job. Okay, let's show it from a different angle. Same Russian spin. And he's in there. Force it down. See his knee up. You see his back foot. Now his front outside foot's going to turn just slightly so it's facing backwards. Now his knee is going to rock away from Sean. His foot's going to unlock. See it unlock right there? That's excellent, Andy. And now Andy might sometimes grab inside the crotch there and pull himself around. Very good job. Really good. Okay, now we're going to do the step over. Sean's going to do this one. Andy's in on a single. Everything's the same. He's on his side. He's pushing the head down with his right hand. Okay, and he's got a little tighter hold. Let's get a little tighter hold. You can't do the Russian spin because the guy's got a tight hold this time. Okay, he's got a strong hold. We're not able to do the Russian spin. We're not able to kick out. So what he's going to do is slide his hips over the man and step all the way to the other side with his free leg. Now, his leg that's on the other side is going to be up. He's going to be on his foot. He's going to straighten out his leg so he's putting tremendous pressure. See his leg straight? Tremendous pressure on the man's head. He's now going to reach down and grab an outside crotch lift hold and take Andy over his thigh, the thigh that Andy is attacking. And as he takes him through, he's going to snag that leg. Go ahead, Sean. He's going to grab that leg. He now puts kind of a half Nelson on the man's body, and he ends up coming in between his legs. The man's on his back. Good hold. Excellent job, guys. The next hold we're going to do is the kick out. In this situation, the guy's in on a single. You're trying to crib the arm. You don't feel you can do the Russian spin. You don't want to step over. Maybe time is running out. You've got to hurry. What you want to do in this situation is hold his head down. Then you throw your hands forward and you start to pull your leg out. If he still has a hold, you take your foot and put it right on his shoulder. Right there on his shoulder. You force him back as you pull your leg out. Right there. Excellent job. Good job. The next hold is the Sanders switch. This is a hold that we've liked for a long time. A number of years ago, we showed this move to a bunch of 13-year-olds on a Wednesday night, and on Saturday, one of those wrestlers pinned 6 guys with this hold. So we know this hold works at any age level. You're in on a single. The knee might be up, it might be down. Doesn't matter. You reach across. You've neutralized him first. You reach across and you hook behind his leg. You put your hand on his calf. And then you reach over the top and you grab your own wrist. You now pull his knee to your chest and you slide your elbow through on his side. It's very important that your elbow slides on his side. See that? Now, that hand hooks on his knee, just on the inside of his knee. The other hand slides down to the heel. You straighten out the man's leg. You lift it up straight. That's good. Now, from this position, this is where you've got to be careful. You want to knock the man to his side. Just lift his leg and knock him right to his side. You do not want to go to your side. You want to stay up on your knee, just like Sean has it right there. You now take the knee that he has a hold of, and you jam it towards his knee. Just run that knee right in towards him, right there. You step over, you hook his leg, and now you go backwards. This is the first time your hip touches the mat. Once you're in this position, you slide your hips out a little bit so you're laying on your side. Slide your hips out so you're laying on your side, right there. Now you can double lock your legs if you want, and you force his foot that you have a hold of towards his head. Force that foot towards the head. Excellent position. This is a great position. You can be pinned here for a long, long time. Now, occasionally when you're in this position and you start to knock the guy down, everything's the same. Inside switch, pull it through. Good job. All right? Now when you lift up on his leg and you start to knock him down, his head comes out. When that happens, you hold right on that leg, you lift it nice and high, and you step through for a Turk. Take him with a half Nelson right to his back. Don't let go of the leg. Excellent position. Okay, now let's watch some of our wrestlers do this move, competition ready. Van's going to shoot a good low single and spin all the way behind Andy. Andy's going to immediately put weight on Van's head by putting his hand right at the base of the skull. He's going to use his hip to drive against Van to try and create some space and loosen his leg. Unfortunately, it doesn't. So he dives forward, puts his foot right on the shoulder, pushes off. Notice how straight his ankle is when it comes out. He now pivots to face his opponent. Isaac's doing a good low single, spinning right behind. Sean's going to put weight on his head, keeping him down there. His hand is right at the base of the skull. He's now going to take his hip and try and drive Isaac to the side to loosen up the grip on his ankle. That doesn't happen, so he's going to slide his hips all the way over. His trailing foot is still going to stay up. Now he's going to put all of his weight right on Isaac's head. Going to grab the far hip and lift it right over his own thigh. Right there, lift right over his thigh. Now as the leg comes through, he's going to grab the leg, put kind of a half Nelson on the body, and he's going to hold him right on his back. Paul shoots in on a low single. Van's going to first neutralize. After he neutralizes, he's going to reach over and reach behind Paul's knee. Pull it tight and into his own chest. Now slides his elbow through on the side. That elbow is important. He now slides down and grabs a hold of Paul's ankle. Straightens out his leg, and then he knocks Paul to the mat. Notice Van is staying up. Now he drives his knee straight through, hooks behind Paul's leg, pulls it in, double locks his own legs, gets the pin. Okay, we're going to do defenses to the double leg takedown right now. We think there's two that you need to know. If you know these, it's really all you need to know. The guy's in on a double. Strong hold. You're going to get your legs in a good position. You're going to start to neutralize. What you're doing here is twist your hips. Give him one hip away from the head. Whichever side his head is on, you twist and give him that hip. Now you either cross face hard and grab the arm, or just push the head straight away. Okay? So that's the first counter that we want you to do. The second counter, same situation. He shoots in on a double. We're going to react either into the man or back with our legs. Okay? Remember, there's 6 different directions we can go in. Right here, we're just going to use this one, but we can use the others also. We're going to reach around and grab right around the top of his rib cage. This kind of a hold, not too tight. Okay? You're going to put your middle in really hard, forcing your legs down, and then you move towards the man's head. He's in this position. You're going to lift up really hard on the rib cage, put your middle in really good, and walk towards his head. Once you cover his head, he's probably going to be all right there. You can arm drag and go behind. Okay? Let's watch some of our guys do this move. Competition ready. Andy's going to post both elbows and shoot in on a good double here. Hands behind the knees. Sean's going to get his legs back, reach around the base of Andy's ribs and lift up on the ribs, put his middle in, and throw his legs to the mat. Now he's going to spin behind and get the takedown. Sean's in on a good double. Andy's getting his legs back, and he's going to pivot towards Sean's head. That exposes the head. He's going to put a strong cross face on, struggling to drive the man's head away. At the same time, you're throwing your legs back and putting your hips in. That creates the pressure on his hands. Once his hands are free, Andy spins behind for the takedown. Whenever we talk about defense, it brings to mind a great story about a Romanian wrestler, Jan Baciu. He was over here for the Olympic training camp in 1976, and I wanted to find out how he defensed the gut wrench. So I said to him, how do you stop a gut wrench? And he said, I don't give permission to work. And I said, no, but after the guy gets his hands locked and he gets a hold of you, how do you stop a gut wrench? He said, I don't give permission to work. So I got a little frustrated. I said, man, this guy, you know, he's Romanian, maybe he doesn't understand English. I'll get the gut wrench on him, and then I'll find out how he stops it. Well, over the next month or so, I probably wrestled 2 hours on top of this guy. And you know, in 2 hours of wrestling, trying to get my gut wrench hold, which then wasn't too bad, I never once got my hands locked. Not once. So guess what? He didn't give permission to work. And that's a great defense against every single hold. You don't give him the hold, he can't use the hold. So now we're going to talk about defense to the front headlock. And the very first defense we're going to use in this situation is not giving permission to work. In this situation, you shoot underneath the guy, he starts to put a front headlock on. When he does, you grab his hand. If you've got the hand, it's impossible for him to get his hands locked, and therefore it's impossible for him to get a front headlock. Okay? The second defense to a front headlock we call a short arm drag. And this hold is put on as soon as he gets a hold of you. It's not good after the guy gets the hold and wraps you up and locks you up too tight. So as he goes to put his front headlock on, he's locking his hands, you reach up and grab a hold of his elbow, just above the elbow. You now drive your shoulder into him very hard, and you rotate around his arm like if it was a pole, and you smack him in the middle of the back with your free arm, and your head comes out. Go ahead, Andy. Boom. Nice sound, wasn't it? Now, the important thing to remember here, let's get that hold again, and turn just a little bit more towards the camera. And what you want to do here is you rotate around that arm, and your head comes out, and you move your body all the way around the guy. Drive in and rotate. There it is. Very, very nice. The next counter that we're going to show here against the front headlock, the man has a strong hold. Maybe you're up a little bit. You're not quite so far down on the ground. He's got his hands locked. You're going to grab his elbow with the outside hand. You're going to grab his wrist with the inside hand. You're now going to step underneath the man and bridge back against him and continue to rotate around his arm, very similar to an arm spin. Go ahead, Andy. Right there. You spin all the way and you face the man. This is another one of those holds that the more violently you do it, the better it is. The more violently you do it, the better it is. This is a great move. It'll work for you every time. Let's watch some of our other wrestlers do this move. Isaac's going to start his defense as soon as Sean puts the front headlock on. He's going to reach up and grab a hold of that elbow. Now he's going to drive his shoulder in very hard and then spin around Sean's arm. His free arm is going to pop Sean in the back, and then he's going to come around to finish his takedown. As soon as Paul puts the front headlock on, the defense begins. Van's going to control that elbow and the wrist. He's going to pull the elbow away from the body, then he's going to step through with his right leg. He's now going to bridge back against Paul and spin on the arm, very much like an arm spin. As he goes over, he's going to take his head out right away and finish the move. Okay, we're going to do some defenses to the high crotch. Now remember, as Sean shoots in here, the first thing you have to do is neutralize. In this case, we want to grab the arm right there. We want to make sure that our thumb is out and our fingers are on the inside. The reason is when he changes to a double, if he does change to a double, we want to be able to underhook. Change to a double, and now you can underhook. Okay? So, back to that position. You're in a strong position. He comes up, he's up on his feet on the high crotch. All right? Before he changes to a double, you're going to hold his arm in there so he can't change to a double. One of the first things you can do in this situation is, if his head's loose, take his head to the inside. If you take his head to the inside, it now becomes a high single. We've done the counters to a high single. If his head's on the outside, you keep him from changing to a double. You have a strong hold on the lat muscle. If you're in close to him and his knee is exposed, you turn a quarter of a pivot turn towards him. You lift up on his knee, you pull on that lat muscle, and you can take him right down right there. Very nice. Now, in the same situation, high crotch. If he's bent over a little bit, what you're going to do is, if you can get behind his far knee with your leg, the one that he's attacking, you're going to hook behind that leg, you're going to reach down and grab the knee, right behind the knee, a good hold, right there, good. Go ahead and finish. Make sure you sit back so you don't end up being rolled through. Let's see that from a different angle. Let's have Sean's back right to the camera. Very good. He's in there, and as he comes up, Andy's going to step forward, hook behind that leg. Then he's going to reach down, grab right behind that knee. That's why God put that little ligament there for you to grab it. There it is. Good. Go ahead and drive right in right there. Beautiful. Very good. Now, same situation if we have a high crotch on the feet, when he's on the knees. Okay? Here he is. He's in a high crotch on the knees. We're going to block right here. We're going to grab that lat muscle. If the leg is exposed, right there, if that leg is exposed, we're going to turn towards the man. We're going to pull on the lat muscle, and we're going to kick right there. Kick him right over. Okay? Another situation. If that leg is there and he's got a little bit of weight on it, we're going to step to the outside. Step to the outside, same thing. Take him right over. Okay? Now let's have Sean in here again. And let's get in on a single, high crotch. Okay? Now when he changes to a double, you're going to underhook his arm. Underhook his arm, hold it up strong, and you're going to take him all the way around to his back. All the way over and step over. In this position, you got to be careful not to go too hard. You got to sit back, and then you can go right into a double grapevine. He starts to bridge, double grapevine. Very nice. Now, probably the counter that you're going to use the most often, you're going to twist towards the man's arm. You're going to crouch, you're going to pivot your hips into him, and throw your leg back and cross face. Twist, right there. Important thing to remember here is to power your hips into him and twist on that arm. You're isolating his arm. You're isolating, you're twisting right into it. See that? Right into it. Strong hold. Maybe you'll even knock him over a little bit and cross face. Okay. The last hold here is when the man's in on a high crotch and he comes up. We call this the Chalice after Wade Chalice, a great wrestler that taught us this hold. You're in that position. As soon as the man's knee leaves the mat, you reach all the way through just underneath the cheek and grab the high part of the thigh. You now rock your knees underneath him. You balance and lift and take him all the way over. You don't touch anything except maybe your arm. You don't go to your back for sure. Go ahead. Very nice. Now let's see that from a different angle. Same situation, right there. See where he reaches. It's very important. He steps up with his left leg to get the balance right underneath the man, and he squats and lifts very hard on the man's hips and takes him all the way over. Very good job, Andrew. Okay. We love this move. Let's watch some of the other guys do it. Now we're going to do offense on the mat. In keeping with our general philosophy, if nobody can hold you down and nobody can take you down, you can't lose. We don't spend as much time on the mat as some people might. If you're real good on the mat, you're a good leg rider, you're good at a lot of different things on the mat, that's fine. You can still use the rest of the stuff that we use and make you an even better wrestler. But we're just going to do a few things on the mat, the things that we know you got to do to win. The starting position is the first one. We want to control when this match starts. So the first thing we're going to do, after he takes his position, the referee tells us to come on, we're going to put our hand right here. The referee can see that we're not on the elbow, and we're going to control when this match is going to start. Now we're going to reach around the waist. Strong hold with our forearm, but not too tight on the belly button. We're going to have our chest against his chest wall. Because when the whistle blows, we're going to want to drive this guy down. If our chest is up on top and we start to drive, we're going to slide off. So, chest right against the chest wall. Good solid position. Put your hand right on the elbow. Now you are ready to go. The important thing here is for us to be in a sprinter start. This leg is at a right angle, the position of maximum power. And as he drives that leg forward, then the other leg becomes in a position of maximum power. And you bring your legs up 2 or 3 steps and the guy's flat. Boom. Okay. Excellent position. Now, turn around a little bit. Get a good look at it from this angle. All right. We're controlling the start here. We want to be controlling the start. Good position. When you're ready, quickly go to the elbow. Quickly. All right. Now, turn Sean around. We're going to do the cross leverage, which is the breakdown we like from this position. Good. We're all set. Now, on the whistle, our front arm is going to drape around his elbow, and we're going to hold that thing right there. We're not going to move it because it's going to stay there, and we're going to drive him over it. We're going to reach with our other arm and grab the instep, pull his leg up behind his bottom, right there, and now we're going to pull both of our arms together, and we're going to drive with our legs. We're going to smack his head right on that mat. Boom. As we go down, we sweep through and we put a bar on. Solid bar position. Now we can let go of the leg, go to the crotch if we want, and drive the bar straight over and walk around the front. Solid position. You can come all the way around, get a reverse half Nelson. Good position. The second move we like from this position is the half Nelson. So let's face the camera, Sean. We've got the guy down all the way on the mat. Now, many people put a half Nelson on, and they go ahead and put a half Nelson on, Angie. And they've got too much space between us and the man. What we're going to try and do in here, what we're going to do in here, is put our hand a little bit higher than the neck, and we're now going to pinch between our bicep and our forearm. we're going to drive straight up and pinch that thing, using our legs to drive. From this position, even a much stronger man cannot fight the half Nelson, because we're pinching between our forearm and our bicep. Pinch. We're going to use our legs, we're going to drive straight into the man, and we can take him over anytime we want. Go ahead, Andy. Very good position. If you get the pinch, you'll find that this is a very, very, very strong hold. Now, let's get the cross leverage and we'll knock him right to the mat. We're going to put a cross face tilt on him. Drive him straight down. Now we take our knuckles and we put them in the soft part of his cheek. We turn his head up towards us. We look right at our own knuckles. And now we grab his arm right at the elbow, just above the elbow. Now what we're going to do is straighten our arm and rock him up on the far shoulder. Good position. Power in with our chest. We're going to reach down now and grab his knee, pull the knee up towards our hip, and throw it over. Now we'll come inside the crotch. We've got a cross-face tilt. Let's turn around so they can see the leg on that, Andy. Okay? We're going to flatten the man with our cross leverage. We're going to put the cross face on, just like before. Now we're going to straighten our arm and rock him up on his shoulder. Now, when we go down and grab the knee, we want to keep the knee bent with the body. It's now at a right angle. You pull it up right underneath your armpit and you throw it over. Very good. Now you go inside the crotch and now you pin him. Same situation, we break the guy down with cross leverage. We now break him down, cross leverage. We put the cross face on, okay, and he starts to turn away from us. We take our hand and we plant it on the mat just behind his knee. We now run our body to the front and we drive his head all the way down to the knee so we can lock up the cradle. You have to use your legs to drive the man towards his knee. Drive, lock your hands. You want to lock your hands very tight to his face. You then spin around and take him to his back. What you want to do here is either step over the leg with your free leg or use your knee on that side to prop his hips up. Prop the hips up. There you go. Anytime you run into a stone wall and you can go in a circle, do it. Because circular motion is the most powerful motion in wrestling. Now, let's take a look at the arm bar. Okay, we're going to use our cross leverage. We're going to break the guy down. We're going to get the bar arm again. Sweep back through the small of the back. Now put the pressure on that arm and get that elbow up so you can see it. Now you drive a little bit to the front, but mostly across. You pull the far arm in. You keep that far shoulder pinned on the mat. You walk all the way around with your hips. Put a reverse Nelson on. And now you got him on his back. You want to pin him. That's the offense on the mat that we're going to do. Now we're going to move to defense on the mat. And we're going to start with defensive starting position again. Andrew's down on the mat. His knuckles are turned in. We like that position because we don't want anybody to grab our hands when we break down. See, if he breaks down, go all the way down to the mat. Sean's going to reach down. He can grab the fingers and pull the arm back. Okay? If Andy's got his fingers pulled in, it's pretty hard to pull it back. Good. All right? So in that position, fingers under. We bend our elbows because we're going to do a stand-up turn-in, and we need to get the power out of those elbows. We arch our back a little bit. Okay? Now we put our hand on our thigh when we get down there. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that, again, that we control the starting position. We are ready to go before the referee puts the guy on top. So we put that hand over there, we get ourselves all set, then we put our hand down. If we put both hands down, the referee might put the guy on top of us before we're ready. We just don't want that to happen. So we put our hand on our thigh, and then we put it down. Hand on our thigh, we get perfectly ready, boom, we're ready to go now. He gets on top anytime the whistle blows, we're off to the races. We're going to start here, and we're going to do the stand-up turn-in. It's the strongest move from the bottom by far. 2/3 of the points scored at the NCAA Division I championships are with the stand-up turn-in from the bottom. So it's a great wrestling move. We think it's important. You got to spend a lot of time on this move, and we're going to do that. Stand-up turn-in, we want a lot of power out of our arms and out of our back. So our back is arched, our elbows are bent in towards us, and on the whistle we're going to explode up into the guy. Let's do that one time, Andy. See that? Your back comes up, your arms come up. Powerful hold. Now, as our back and arms come up, we're going to come up to the first half of the position here. Ready? Hit it. We want a right angle right here. We want this to be a right angle, maximum power. We want this to be a right angle. We want to be straight up here, and we want this leg to form a right angle with the mat. Now, once we're in this position, we're going to grab this hand, and we want to grab right here at the knuckles, and we're going to pull it up, right here. This arm's going to come powering back into the guy. Strong position. We don't want him getting underneath this arm. As this front foot hits, we're going to rotate so that our hips come over here, and this knee comes up. So as we get the power here, we're going to rotate. So pick up that foot and slam it into the mat and rotate. In this position, our head's going to be strongly against him. We're right here pulling this hand up. Now we're going to lift the hand up just a little bit more. Our hips are going to rotate away from him, wherever he is, and we're going to step back. We're not going to put our head underneath. We don't want our head going down here. We don't want him putting a front headlock on. Okay? Stand-up turn-in is a great move. We like the outside leg stand-up turn-in. It's not as powerful as the inside leg stand-up turn-in, but if the guy's driving into you, sometimes you can't get the inside leg up. So we like the outside leg stand-up. So now Andy's going to start up. Again, the first half of the move. Ready, hit it. Explosion. Look for the right angles. Second half of the move. Ready, hit it. Okay, third half of the move. Ready, hit it. Good. You might have noticed there's 3 halves to this move. Wait a minute. Something wrong with my mathematics? Not really. I think this move is 50% better than any move you can use from the bottom, so therefore we got 3 halves to it. Okay, let's watch it one more time. Elbows in, explosion straight up, ready, first half, hit it. Ready, second half, hit it. Ready, third half, hit it. Should be no reason why you can't do 50 of these when you're studying at home at night. You just sit down there without a partner. Andy's going to show you how you do it. And we do a nice simple move. Ready, first half, hit it. Ready, second half, hit it. Ready, third half, hit it. You do them and you do them. Remember we said 2,000 correct repetitions is what it takes to get a move competition ready. That's 50 every single day for 40 days, or 100 for 20. So you do 50 one time during the day, another 50, you're going to get this move down. Now, what we're going to do now is show the different possibilities. When Andy comes up, Sean has 3 options. One is he can pull him towards him, right there. The other is he can drive him straight down. Okay. The next one is he can lock his hands. The next one is he can grab either the outside ankle or the inside ankle. And now what we're going to do is show you what we want you to do if that happens. Okay? Andy starts the move, and Sean pulls him towards him. Andy's going to put his hand down and spin towards Sean, and he's out. Okay? And you got to practice this. Once you learn all these moves, you got to practice them. Next one is Sean's going to try and lock his hands. But Andy's going to fend him off with the inside hand. He's going to be pulling that other hand up. So between the two of those, he's going to be able to get away. He's going to continue the move, and he's out. Now, on the whistle, the guy drives up. You go straight up. If your foot is down solidly, When he drives into you, he's going to drive you right to your feet. Two forces meeting, go up. Your foot goes pop against the mat strongly. He's driving into you. Now you turn in. Okay. Now, if he grabs the inside ankle, you're going to be turning towards it. So ready, go. He's going to grab it with his left hand. He's going to grab it with his left hand, and you're going to be turning towards it as you come up. Okay, let's go down and start that again. Ready? Outside leg comes up. He grabs it. You rotate towards it. Okay. You pull it off. Good. And you're out. Okay? Chances are he's not really going to keep you from coming up. So let's have Sean grab that inside ankle again, and this time Andy's going to go all the way through with the move he intended, which is the outside leg stand up. Ready, go. Sean grabs it, you rotate right towards it, and you're out. Now, the outside leg, if he tries to get the outside leg, it's going to be pretty difficult if you're moving on the whistle for him to get it. We think you can beat him every time here. Ready, go. Boom. You're gone. He's missed it. So if he goes right to the inside ankle, you're going to rotate up on it anyway, so he's not going to have anything. Ready, go. Outside ankle. Beautiful. All right. Okay. That's the stand-up turning. The next move that we like in here is the rotate and rock back. And this move was designed by a man named Bill Layton, really great wrestling coach, one of my wrestling coaches. And we think this move is good for a number of reasons. First of all, it teaches you to come to a cover position, to keep the man from tying you up, to get hand control, and to spin towards him. It's really just a turn-in. It's a turn-in on the mat, not a stand-up turn-in. This is a turn-in right on the mat. So on the whistle, Andy's going to be kind of sitting a little bit in on the inside ankle. On the whistle, he's going to bring his inside arm in to cut Sean off from locking his hands. He's going to grab the hand that's on his waist. He's going to lean forward so that there's weight on his knee, and now he's going to throw his head and shoulders towards Sean, and he's going to pivot towards him and turn in. Go ahead. That's the hold. Now without a partner, what I want you to see here is that Andy can start to spin and spin 360 degrees all the way around. He pulls his elbow in, he grabs the hand on the waist, he starts to spin, and he just spins 360 degrees. Good. Good. All right. Again, with a partner. On the whistle, he's going to bring his inside arm in. He's going to grab the hand that's on the waist, pull it up a little bit, and your shoulders and your head are going to explode into the man. And you're going to pivot on that knee. You make sure you bring your ankle, your inside ankle with you. Don't leave it trailing behind you. It spins right underneath you. Go ahead, nice and slow. Boom. You see it come under? Now you rotate, and then you rock back. The rotate and rock back. Now, what I like about this position is what happens if you're already flat on the mat? Let's knock them down all the way here. We don't like to be in this position. We never like to be any place but our knees. But let's say we do. So we pull up our inside knee, right up next to our body. We push our weight over on that knee, and we're in the rotate and rock back position. Right there. Takes the hand off and pivots. So if you're taken down or you're knocked down, the worst you're going to do is when you hit the mat, pull yourself together and get that position. Right up there, hand control, elbow in, and you go. This is great, wrestling on the mat, stand up turning, rotate and rock back, control. You've got a block for every one of the things that he can do to you. We think this is all you need. If you've got this good, you can get away from anybody. Let's go down to the office. There's a couple more things I want to talk to you about. We've now finished all of the technique that we want you to know. But there are a lot of other things in our system that it's important that you understand. I'm going to take a few minutes to share some of those with you. First of all, goals. Everyone knows you should have goals. Everyone thinks they're important. but I want to tell you exactly why they're important. Number one, how can you get any place if you don't know where you're going? Number two, you need to decide how it is you're going to get to that place. The more detailed you have your goal, the better it will be for you to reach your objectives. You need to know exactly what it is that you want to accomplish. Sit down, write it out, think about it. Now, you've got your goal, you need some kind of a plan to get there. If you want to go to New York City, that's your goal, you need a roadmap. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Do you want to run? How many times? Do you want to weightlift? How often? How many competitions do you want out of season? Everybody knows summer wrestling makes winter champions, but you need to decide for yourself how much out of season wrestling you want to do. You got to think about all these things and then put them down on paper. You need a plan for the year, a plan for the month, a plan for the week, and a plan for the day. It's impossible for you to evaluate where you're going and how you're going if you don't know what it is you want to do. You got to decide what it is you're going to do today so that you can look at it and say, yes, I accomplished my goal for the day. I accomplished my goal for the week. And then put it down on paper, read it every single day. That way you'll remind yourself what it is you want to do. And the most important thing in any goal is you got to stick to your plan. Now, let's talk about diet. First thing I want you to do is check with your parents, with your coach, and with your doctor before you start any diet. It's very difficult to start a diet until you have some advice. There's a lot of books on nutrition. Get a hold of one. Read it. Find out about carbohydrates and about fats and about foods and everything you can find out about them. I'm going to give you some of the most useful hints that we've been able to assemble over a number of years. First of all, cut out soda, Coke, Pepsi. There's a lot of sodium and a lot of other minerals which retain water and hurt you when you're dieting. Number two, cut down on high-calorie juices, particularly orange juice and grape juice. Substitute grapefruit juice, tomato juice, lower-calorie juices. Number three, we all know milk is good for you. Use low-fat milk, skim milk, 1% milk. Eliminate all fried foods. They're very high in fats and therefore high in calories. Cut down on red meat and cheese. 3 to 5 ounces a day, that's enough. Eat more chicken, eat more fish, and broil the chicken and broil the fish. Instead of eating French fries, eat baked potato. Carbohydrates are very important, but you don't need the fat. You're a little bit hungry, don't have another piece of meat, have an extra piece of bread or some pasta. The carbohydrates, again, are important and they're much lower in calories. Finally, cut out eating or eat as little as possible after 4 p.m. in the afternoon. The things that you eat late in the day are stored in your body and they're not utilized. Breakfast and lunch, that's energy for the day. Evening meal, late night snacks, cut them out. Now let's talk about our training methods and what we want you to do. Number one, obviously you're going to have some wrestling workouts, 5 or 6 a week. Those should be designed by your coach. Then, we want you to run 3 to 5 times a week, 3 to 4 miles each time. Non-athletes run 1 or 2 miles. Athletes are running 3 or 4 miles. Then we want you to weightlift 3 or 4 times a week. Get with somebody, have a program designed for you. Any weightlifting workout you do, as long as you're sweating, is going to help you. Extra drill, the extra 10 to 15 minutes you need every day to get those 2,000 correct repetitions and develop those holds. You can do it either before practice, get there a little bit early, stay a little bit late. Once in a while you can get in the wrestling room at noontime or in the morning. It's going to help you. Shadow wrestling. We like shadow wrestling for a couple of reasons. It's something you can do in the evening. It's low intensity. You can do your studying, study for an hour, take a little break, 5 or 10 minutes of shadow wrestling. It doesn't have to be violent. You don't have to wreck your mom's furniture. You don't have to hurt her carpet. Just do it for form. Nice and slow. It's going to improve your wrestling. Then, of course, we want you to eat a balanced diet. Everybody knows the importance of diet, and we want you to get a good night's sleep. How much sleep? It varies. Each individual has different needs. You have to decide and find out for yourself. Do you need 8 hours or 9 hours, or what do you need? Now, we've asked some of our championship wrestlers to give you their thoughts on some of these ideas.
Hi, my name's Van Fraunhofer, and I'm a collegiate All-American and a Greco-Roman national champion. And I'm here to talk to you about how I control my weight. First of all, there's 3 aspects to weight control. There's the exercise, there's the eating right and dieting, and the weighing yourself every single day. Now, weighing yourself every single day is probably the most important part of cutting weight, or making weight, or controlling your weight, whatever you want to call it. I feel that the closer you get to a competition, the more times you have to weigh yourself. I weigh myself twice a day the closer I get to a competition. Once in the morning and once in the evening. You weigh yourself, I weigh myself these times because I like to know how much I can float at night, and I like to know how much I can lose during the course of a day with a regular workout. Then there's the eating right part. You gotta diet right, you gotta cut down on your general overall calories, but I also like to cut down on my fat calories because fat calories are stored more easily than, say, carbohydrate calories. And I like to eat a lot of carbohydrates because they burn off easy and they're quick energy. You got to watch your calories, eat from all the food groups so you get all your vitamins and minerals and everything, and just pretty much watch your calories intakes. That's the biggest part. Then the exercise. You got to work out every single day because you eat every single day. And whether it's a hard wrestling workout like you do with your coach and the schedule 5 days a week or 6 days a week, or whether it's drilling in the morning with your friends, you like to drill intensely so you sweat, make sure you sweat in every workout. I also like to do other kinds of workouts on my own, like running. You got to run all the time. Running is definitely the best exercise for me and probably for everybody to keep yourself in the best cardiovascular condition that you can possibly be in. And I like to ride a lot of bicycle too. I'm really into bicycle riding. I mountain bike, I ride bicycles on the road. I do it in the fall and in the spring and in the summer. In the wintertime, I like to ride a stationary bike to keep myself in bicycling shape. And pretty much, you gotta watch what you eat, you gotta exercise, and you gotta weigh yourself every single day.
Hello, my name is Chris Tironi, member of the 1990 World Team. Like many of us, I don't enjoy lifting, but I need to maintain my strength to stay competitive. What I've done is design a program specific to my style of wrestling. Wrestling is a sport of pulling, so I do pulls, curls, cleans, and squats with an emphasis on explosion in each exercise. As you know, a move that is done hard and fast is more likely to work. My advice to you is to design a program that will suit your style and stick with it. This is the kind of thing that will make a difference in your wrestling.
Hi, my name is Andy Saris. I've been the #1 ranked 149.5-pound wrestler in the United States, 1988, 89, 90, and 91. I'd like to talk to you now about match preparation. First thing I do is I try to stay relaxed, because I'm confident that I've mastered all the technique on this tape and I can call on any of it at a moment's notice and make it work. Second thing is getting a good warm-up. It's very important to be physically ready as well as mentally ready for every wrestling match. My warm-up is about 25 minutes before my match starts. I'll start running around, getting my shoulders and neck, everything loose. And about 20 minutes before, I'll go a full match with one of my partners. This gets my heart rate up, gets rid of some of the bad kinks that you might have in your body, and you're ready to go. Another important thing is to give nothing up easy in a match. You have to be tough, every minute of every match. I was wrestling a Cuban wrestler, Alfredo Vicet, in the 1990 Pan American Championships. He nearly scored a good technique in the first minute of the match, but I stayed tough, didn't give it to him, kept the match even. If he would have gotten ahead of me, I feel I would have had a tough time catching him because he's a very good defensive wrestler. So remember, relax because you know you have the technique mastered. Get a good warm-up to get your body ready, give nothing easy, and you'll be ready to take on the world.
Hi, my name is Dave Koplowitz. I'm a member of the U.S. National Greco-Roman Wrestling Team. And Coach DeMeo has asked me to come today and speak to you about mental preparation. Wrestling, by some, is said to be 5% physical and 95% mental, and I would tend to agree with that statement. I know that I only wrestle well when I'm mentally prepared, and this is something that I've only developed in the last few years. I've worked very closely with a sports psychologist, and he's gotten me to the point where when I get on the mat, I'm relaxed, I'm focused, I've already visualized what I'm going to do, and the match is already wrestled in my head. All that remains to do is to actually wrestle. I think that this has helped me be a better wrestler. I try and keep all my thoughts positive. I try and remove all negative thoughts from my head. And I actually do this by saying stop. I verbally say stop when I have a mental image that's negative come into my head. And then I try and bring my focus back on the positive things, back on the visualization of what I'm going to do, the techniques that I'm going to do, how it's going to feel to win when I'm done, what people are going to say after my match. Hey, great match. And I focus on those things. I develop a routine, a warm-up routine. And what I do is actually, it's kind of strange, I pace back and forth for about 15 minutes before my match, and I focus on all the things that I want to do. I think about all the good wrestling that I've learned, all the time I've put into training and becoming the best person I can become on the mat and off the mat. My training doesn't start the day of the match. My mental preparation starts months in advance. And I'll wake up in the morning, say 3-4 months before I even start hard training, and I start telling myself, hey, you're a good wrestler. You've got what it takes. You can do it. You think all the positive things you have in your arsenal, your strength, your speed, whatever it may be, and you tell yourself these things, and you tell yourself over and over again, and eventually you're going to start believing it. These are called affirmations. I've learned breathing techniques to relax myself so that when I'm traveling to a tournament and I hit some turbulence in the airplane, I don't start tensing up and losing energy. And that energy might be valuable later on in the week during the competition. And I'm not going to be exhausted when I get there. So I practice my deep breathing techniques. You got to relax and enjoy wrestling. That's what it's all about. And if you're not having fun, it really isn't worth doing. So learn how to relax. Learn the techniques in this tape, because that 5% is going to make the difference. And enjoy yourself. Use your energy wisely. Don't waste it on negative ideas and thoughts.
A very important element of our coaching system is that the philosophies which we know are important are interwoven with the technique and the training methods. One of our basic philosophies is that champions always find a way to win. As you look over past success stories, you'll realize that somehow the good ones always find a way to get the job done, regardless of adversities. One of the essentials of becoming a champion is belief in yourself. Realize that it never costs anything to believe in yourself. There are no requisites. You don't even need great talent. You don't need skill. You only need to believe and convince yourself that you're capable of attaining the goals that you've set for yourself. A man can only succeed to the extent he thinks he can. On the other hand, I've known a lot of great wrestlers who, even though they have talent, all the talent in the world, you cannot succeed to your potential unless the basic belief is there. Another basic philosophy is wrestle like a champion today. Always prepare yourself to be at your best at practice so that you'll be able to reproduce those results in competition. Your success in matches often depends on the time and effort that you put into your preparation. This includes your match preparation. We model our philosophy after the Soviets, who have always demonstrated tremendous success in international competition. According to Anatoly Nezarenko, a friend of ours and a 3-time world champion from the Soviet Union, the Soviet athlete is given 3 basic instructions. Number 1, every opponent is good. There are no weak opponents. 2, prepare only for one match, the one coming up. 3, after the match, don't dwell on the results. The explanation is simple. Number 1, underestimating your opponent can lead to poor results. Number 2, concentrating on any match other than the one that's coming up will keep you from proper focus and direction. Number 3, Getting too excited about a win or too depressed about a loss can keep you from obtaining good results in your next match. Another essential is to take stock of yourself and your wrestling. Make everything you do a learning experience. Let every wrestling experience you have be a positive one by learning not only from the wins but from your losses. Realize that you can learn as much from a loss as you can from a win. Part of learning from a loss comes from being able to take complete responsibility for that loss. Dr. Bill Stewart, an NCAA champion from Lehigh, once told me, "The winner has the trophy, the loser has the story." And it's true. Don't make excuses for losing, even if you think they're legitimate. Excuses will only keep you from understanding that you lost and that you need to improve to win next time. The sooner you're able to internalize these philosophies and put them to work for you, the sooner you'll be on the road to achieving your highest aspirations in wrestling. And remember, take advantage of our personal coaching service. Send us your videos. We're here as a resource for you to help you become the champion that you want to be.